2021, I've forgotten his name now, the then Commissioner for Public Education and Enlightenment of INEC, said that they had no problem transmitting real time where there is no network. You upload, and as soon as you get to the network area, it will upload itself to the IRF. So I don't see why they should be talking about no network. If there's no network, yes, you still upload, but it will not go straight to the IRF until you get to, I'm quoting the Director of Enlightenment Public Education now. When you get to the area where there is a network, then the thing will automatically upload. Besides, they have the hard copies of the from ECHA that all the agents will have. So what is the fear of transmitting these results real time? The fear is just that they are looking for way. You know, Nigerians don't like Nigerian politicians, not some Nigerian politicians, not but most of Nigerian politicians. Let me be generous somehow, because not all of them that are bad. They are afraid of transparent, credible election. Because when you shoot yourself to power through rigging, through fraud, you are not accountable to the people. But when our electoral process is straightened and it's credible, if you don't do well, we vote you out, and it will make everybody to sit up and go ahead to deliver the dividend of democracy to the people. But because they are not ready to deliver the dividend of democracy and they want to perpetuate and remain in power, they will never go for credible and transparent election. So that's where we are now.
So, Mr. Mike Ejiofor, you know, there are those who have said, like, you know, lawmaking is a continuous process, right? That there are going to be clauses or sections of the law that people are not comfortable with, and that's why government is a continuum. So they said, well, we might say the word real time is not there at this point, but they've taken away what used to be discretionary powers of the Electoral Commission. Now, the presiding officer has been mandated to upload it. The only clause in this case is that if there is a challenge, they will go back to the form ECHA. So what do you make of that argument that we've made progress, at least the fact that it's been taken away from discretionary powers of the Electoral Commission into what is now written in law?
We have only made 50% progress, if you want me to classify it, by enshrining that proviso of real time. But the 50% remaining, be sure that it will be manipulated. We are here, you saw what happened in the Edo election. Mutilated result sheets, where you have 200, they add to make it 2,000, irrespective of the number of accreditation and all this. So I still believe that the National Assembly, not the entire National Assembly, the Senate, can still go ahead and remove that proviso, because it's not necessary, absolutely not necessary. I don't see why it has to remain. I agree that there might be issues, glitches. In that same provision, it was also clearly stated when they have such major issues, the election should be cancelled and be taken again. So I don't see the need for that proviso. It's just fraudulent.
Right. Mr. Ejiofor, there are those who also argue that the reference the December 2023 judgment of the Supreme Court regarding the position of INEC, and they said the IREV is it's just a viewing portal, nothing more. It's not a collation center, it's nothing, because our voting is done manually, collation is done manually as well. So IREV is just a viewing center. So there are those who argue that what's the fuss about, real-time transmission when collation is still going to be done manually. In fact, the presidential election is also going to be done manually at the National Collation Center, where professors, returning officers will present the results. That whether or not a result is transmitted into the IREV does not invalidate what has been thumbprinted and countersigned by party agents. What do you make of that argument?
Well, in law, you cannot put something on nothing. The purpose of the IREV is to ensure that what is contained in the sheets corresponds with what is being collated. I agree that there are processes for manipulation. Like during the thumbprinting, they can still thumbprint and forward this, but let it be on record. Even if it was thumbprinted, the party agents, this is where they have roles to play. The party agents must be on ground to ensure that what is voted for is what is recorded. But if you leave it to one political party, they are at liberty to thumbprint, and once it's sent to RF, it becomes an authentic result. There's nothing you can do about that. I'm not oblivious of the fact that that's a possibility. But well, at least for once, let us, we must commend the Senate, because for me, but they still need to do more. They still need to do more to ensure transparency and credibility of our process.
Right. Okay. So, do you think that this would eliminate all forms of manipulation first and feeling of manipulation? Because there is a side to it that also argue that Nigerian politicians typically, when they lose election, always feel disgruntled. Like there's never been, every election cycle we've had, there's always been a feeling of being cheated. We've never had, an election that's been devoid of a losing party saying, "Oh, this was what happened," or would have won this, would have won that. That all our elections have always been disputed. From the 60s to the 79 election, 83 election, except maybe 1993, the June 12 election that was widely acclaimed as the freest and fairest. Although that's up for debate as well. 2007, 2011. Except for Goodluck Jonathan's election in 2015 as well. So virtually all our elections have been, disputed with allegations of rigging and manipulation. That this does not take away the insatiable nature of the Nigerian politician when they lose an election.
Well, for me, if they lose the election, there's no way any party or group cannot agitate the outcome of the election. But if the election is free and fair, our courts will not have much to do. But you can see that people are also losing confidence in the judicial process. So because they look for technicalities to either dismiss a case, throw it away, or nullify it. And, I don't want to dwell so much on politics. I'm not a politician. I don't belong to any registered political party. But my issue is that security, it involves the non-compliance of this election generate serious security problems, where people will begin to demonstrate, protest. You can see what is happening in the National Assembly. Civil society organizations, they are generating, and politicians are generating some of the majority of our problems are politically generated. So I think it's better to do the right thing, and we'll have peace. The courts will not be stressed in going through the bulk of this thing, looking for technicalities. And besides, one of the greatest things I expected that they should have included in that amendment is the issue of, in criminal cases, if you are convicted of a crime, you are banned from holding political office for 10 years.
Yes.
In criminal cases. But this one is established that somebody committed electoral fraud, electoral crime. And they just, okay, you go, you give me a part of the back and you say you should go. They should go ahead and impose that once such cases are established, the person should also be banned for a minimum of 5 years or one tenure. Or 4 years from seeking election. That would discourage people from all these malfeasance that we're facing. Nigeria, I believe, must grow and come out of these shenanigans that our politicians are bringing up just for their personal interest, not national interest. At the moment we do that, you see that people will sit up and deliver the dividends of democracy.
Yes, I like the fact that you mentioned that other aspect of the amendment, because there are those who argue that Nigerians only were fixated on this real-time transmission, that there are other very important clauses as well that we should have focused on. For instance, the one you mentioned, and also the one that talks about the, there are those who have suggested, exhausting all legal cases, all election dispute cases before an elected person is sworn into office. As such, provision should also have been factored into this amendment of the electoral bill. How important is such provision in the context of how highly disputed our elections always become, from House of Assembly, National Assembly, state governorship, up to the presidential level? You are always going to have series of court cases which the person elected would have been sworn in months after the cases are exhausted in court.
Well, much as I agree that the electoral judicial process will be exhausted, people seem to say that judiciary is the last hope of the common man. But it's no longer so. You have what the national president of the FDA said, that is the highest bidder that wins the case. Now, people go to purchase judgments. So, in addition to that amendment, we should also have this issue of defections. You go on a particular party's mandate. All of a sudden, you wake up with a mandate and say you are defecting to another party. The law states that in that case, it must be established that there's a division at the national level of the political party. But I think they should amend it that once you defect from the political party that sponsored you, you must also resign from that party, and fresh elections should be conducted. That will stop all these issues of these people are here, tomorrow they are on that place, and begin to run around political parties for their personal interests, and not either the, of course, all our political parties. There's none that's ideologically based.
Yes.
They're also having their personal interest. If they had ideologies that would say, yes, we are pursuing this ideology, that means that ideology that the party is pursuing, we have abandoned it to another party that has a different ideology. But unfortunately, all the parties have no ideology to talk of basic ideology. They just go there to serve. And as long as we continue to do that, we'll continue to group in darkness.
And there's also the concern that the Senate might have also created an unnecessary loophole that's going back to the issue of real-time transmission, because in this context now, who determines if there is a network challenge? Is it the presiding officer that says, oh, because I'm in this area, in this corner, there's no network, therefore I cannot take the picture and upload it? So is this a loophole that has been left that can be taken advantage of, by those contesting, the party agents, or even the presiding officers, or anyone that might have been compromised on election day? Because who determines if the network is enough for it to go through, or who determines if it's not enough for it to go through?
Of course, that's the point I was making, that this proviso or the clause is not necessary. Because it's the presiding officer that will determine that there's no network. And voters and agents don't even know how to operate the machine. For you to say, yes, whether it's true that they might have networks in their phones and say, well, I will tell you that there's no network here. So that's where they will start the manipulation. But I have said it, that you upload on that spot, whether there's no network or not. But once you get to network area, it will automatically upload. That's what INEC told us. So I don't know why people are worried over INEC's responsibility. INEC has not come out to tell us that they don't have the capacity to deliver, or that network is worrying them. So why must you be interested, crying more than the bereaved? That's my problem. They're just looking for ways to manipulate the election.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Ejiofor. Please stay on the line. We need to take this commercial break. When we get back, we'll talk more regarding the state of our elections, security, and other issues of national interest. Just stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
You're listening to 94.9 32 FM.
Wetin happen? Omo, every time I do small transaction, they don't slam me with original extra charges, SMS alert, bank transfer, even bill payment sef. They no dey pity person at all. You never hear say with Smart Cash, you fit send money go another bank, pay your bills, and receive SMS alert all for free. For free? Yes, now for free. Then go even pay you 15% interest per annum on top your savings.
Hey, got some for me now. If you join Smart Cash,
dial *939# or download the Smart Cash app today to begin enjoy zero extra charges on all transactions. Smart Cash, money matter na sense. Smart Cash na by INT'L.
Here you go, dear.
Mom, you didn't add milk.
No need to. Taste it and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Yes.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo 3-in-1 milky and creamy for you. It's so milky. I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
Give your kids Milo 3-in-1, milky and creamy. It's truly milky. It contains calcium to help your champ win every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo.
Marhaba bika ya shahra al-mubaraka. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Àkí gbogbo mùsùlùmí mùsùlùmá káàbọ̀ sínú oṣù àlùbáríkà 32 FM Ramadan quiz pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ iléeṣẹ́ Edward Homes and Property Management. 32 FM Ramadan quiz yóò máa gbéra sọ láti ọjọ́ ajé Monday títí di ọjọ́ ẹtì Friday ní déédéé agogo 4 kọjá ìṣẹ́jú 15 4:15 PM títí di agogo 5 gẹ́gẹ́. Ọmọ ọdún 8 sí 15 8 to 15 years ni yóò láǹfààní láti kópa lórí rédíò 32 FM 94.9. Yawmul Jumu'ah ó ní ọjọ́ àṣekágbá ọ̀sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ bí ìṣe wà. Monday àkọ́kọ́ nínú oṣù Ramadan àti ọdún yìí ní ìdíje 32 FM Ramadan quiz ó gbéra sọ. Onírúurú ẹ̀bùn ló ti wà nílẹ̀ fún àwọn olùdíje pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ iléeṣẹ́ tí ń talẹ̀ Edward Homes and Property Management. Olùdíje tó bá ṣe pò kíní yóò lọlé pẹ̀lú a plot of land. Bákan náà ni olùdíje tó bá ṣe pò kejì àti pò kẹta náà ó gbẹ àwọn ẹ̀bùn ńláńlá relé lọ́jọ́ àṣekágbá. Kí àwọn ọmọ yín tí ọjọ́ orí wọn wà láàrin 8 to 15 years sáà ti pè wọlé láti dáhùn béèrè bó ti tó àti bó ṣe yẹ. 32 FM Ramadan quiz Masha Allah ọmọ mi ò ní gbẹ̀yìn ń bẹ̀.
Wọ́n máa fà sálà tó ránṣẹ́ o. Wọ́n máa fà sálà.
ṣó o ti ṣetán láti jẹ ìfà gbádùn oúnjẹ rẹ pẹ̀lú Coca-Cola tó wọ̀nyí sótún tutù dọ́kàn láti fi ẹgbẹ̀ta mílíọ̀nù náírà ṣèfàjẹ èèyàn méjì ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ló ń di ọlọ́lá lójoojúmọ́ pẹ̀lú ẹ̀bùn 50 mílíọ̀nù náírà lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ láti jẹ tàbí kópa nínú ìfà rẹpẹtẹ yìí. Ra Coca-Cola onígò tàbí oníke, ṣe àyẹ̀wò QR code tó wà lórí ìgò tàbí ara ike Coca-Cola náà kí o sì tẹ kóòdù tí ó gbé jáde. Àǹfààní ńlá rèé láti di ọlọ́lá tó ń jẹ ìfà tí ìfà náà ò sì ní ìpalára. Ra Coca-Cola, yẹ kóòdù ara rẹ̀ wò kó jẹ ìfà rẹpẹtẹ. Ìlànà àtàdéhùn wà o.
OneXBet. It's time for bonuses and wins. Download the OneXBet app from Google Play or the App Store and start winning today. At the heart of the game, OneXBet. Bet responsibly. 18+.
Brotherly, I don't finally save 70,000 for this economy. 30 December, don't set. It could do, but if to show you saver with the Smart Saver, another 10,500 naira for the climber. Now 15% interest per annum be that too.
Una dey use Smart Cash buy data, airtime and pay bills. Now we don add the Smart Saver. You go get 15% interest on any amount you save, and the interest go dey drop for your account every day. You fit comot your money anytime. The best part be say you fit start with any amount. Dial *939# or download the Smart Cash app. Make yourself begin dey enjoy. Smart Cash na by INT'L. Times and conditions dey sha o. Money matter na sense.
Ahlan wa sahlan famarhaba ya shahra al-karim. Oṣù bùkún oṣù àforíjìn, oṣù Ramadan máa wulẹ̀ máa rọra. Oṣù tí Ọlọ́run Ọba Allah sọ wípé gbogbo ẹni bá ṣe dáadáa kan níbẹ̀ òun yóò san ní ẹ̀san lọ́pọ̀. Nínú iṣẹ́ ládá tí ẹ̀dá tún lè ṣe, tí ládá ẹ̀dá ó tún fi tẹ̀sùn lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run Ọba Allah. Ó ní kí ẹ̀dá ó máa ná nínú tí Ọlọ́run fún lóore sójú ọ̀nà t'Ọlọ́run. Kí ládá tèmi tìrẹ lè tún tẹ̀sùn lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run Ọba Allah. Pàtàkì jùlọ nínú oṣù Ramadan. Ìdí nìyí tí ìkànnì 32 FM 94.9 tá a kalẹ̀ ká sájà kan kòkó ọ̀zùgbẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn fi ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ àwọn ètò ọlọ́kùn òjọ̀kan tí a lè ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ rẹ̀ nínú oṣù Ramadan náà yìí láti jẹ́ kí ládàá tiwa náà tún kún kẹ́kẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run Ọba. Àwọn ètò tí a lè ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ rẹ̀ bíi wáàsí ọlọ́gbọ̀n ìṣẹ́jú, oníṣẹ́jú 15, oníṣẹ́jú 10 àti oníṣẹ́jú 5. Bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni ìrun pípè lọ́lọ́kùn òjọ̀kan àti àwọn ètò kíní àti ètò ìpolówó ọjà lówó tí ò gajara lọ. Fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé ẹ̀lọ́ Ali ní 081 43 38 02 08024 Yusuf 08053561131. Ramadan ọdún yìí kò ní jẹ́ àṣemọ fún wa o. Allahumma àmín.
Àwọn tí tún dòde oṣù Ramadan mọ́rí abá. Everywhere they play my music.
Ǹjẹ́ ìwọ ń wá ibi tó ti ra ojúlówó power bank àti phone accessories lónìrànràn àbí London used phone ni wọ́n fẹ́ ni? Iléeṣẹ́ Real Phone Repair and Unlock Services níbi tí wọ́n ti ń ta ojúlówó phone accessories látòrí protective cases and covers, screen protectors, essential for your phone safety, chargers and charging cables, portable power banks, high capacity power bank, wireless earbuds and headphones, tempered glasses, Bluetooth earbuds, camera lenses, tripods, selfie stick among others. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n tún ń ta London used phones lónìrànràn látòrí Android títí dórí iPhones bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ṣe fẹ́ sí. Iléeṣẹ́ Real Phones Repair and Unlock Services wà ní number 31C Nipos Shopping Complex nídojúkọ Cocoa House. Gẹ́lẹ́kẹ́ tó wọlé lẹ́ẹ̀tì kàn wọ́n lẹ́nu géètì. Tí ẹ bá tó wọlé tán, a ó tún kàn wọ́n kúgú lápá ọ̀tún yín. A tún wà ní Mọ́kọ́lá. Tún wá gbọ́ o. Bó ṣe ń bá wọn rajà ni o tún ní àǹfààní sí àwọn ẹ̀bùn bíi screen guard méjì, data cable àti data subscription. Ẹ pè iléeṣẹ́ Real Phones sórí 0706-436-8169. Real Phones Repair and Unlock Services. Ojútùú sí gbogbo ìpèníjà fóònù rẹ.
I am the chef of life with Mr. Chef. Aroma this Niger vibe, Mr. Chef, two finger crush. I am the chef of life with Mr. Chef. I am the chef of life with Mr. Chef.
Mr. Chef, taste home, taste culture.
Chef of life.
You're listening to 94.9 32 FM.
Welcome back to the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. Our guest this morning, in case you're just joining us, is Mr. 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐄, the former director of the State Security Service, DSS. Mr. 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐄, thank you for staying with us on the Podium this morning. Yes. So let's quickly move away from the issues relating to the Electoral Act, because that was not the only thing that was discussed on the floor of the Senate yesterday. The issue of insecurity also came to the fore as well. With it sounds like you're in transit, Mr. 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐄. There's a bit of noise in the background.
No, I'm not in transit. I'm in my house.
Oh, okay. There's a kind of noise in the background. I don't know. Okay. All right. Okay, I think it's better now.
Okay.
Yes, I think it's better now. Thank you, sir. So, yesterday it also came to the fore on the floor of the Senate, issues around insecurity, with the horrific incident in Kwara State being the focal point of that conversation. We understand that 200 persons were killed, and then dozens of women and children were also kidnapped from that village in Kwara. They also brought to the fore a lot of questions about, some say it's failure of intelligence, the fact that security architecture has been overwhelmed. Some say it brings to the fore again argument for the question of state police to give governors more powers over their domain. What's your reading of the situation, with particular focus on the recent attacks in Kwara State, Mr. 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐄?
Well, for me, any person talking of lack of intelligence, it's just being unfair. Intelligence is there, the people are cooperating, but the truth is that we always say, these people they don't have rules of engagement. And if you recall that what they have always propagated is that the Boko Haram, for instance, they're always against Western education and democracy. So now that we are going into election in 2027, they want to try to show, for political reasons, their disdain for democracy and good governance. So I think that's what they're trying to do, to at least make government unpopular, discredit government, and also when government is also trying to do more in terms of ridding the society of this criminality. They try to come in haphazardly and cause mayhem. You also recall that Nigeria is now in partnership with the United States.
Yes.
So with the strike on Christmas Day and more strikes expected, they want to show that they are still potent and try to like I always say, that the last kick of a dying horse, trying because they are frustrated, they know that there's no way they can win the war against government. So these are signs that the government is trying. But you also ask, the issue is that the primary purpose of government is welfare and security of the people. So government is bound to provide that security and welfare to the people. And when the government fails to do that, the people lose confidence in government, and that's what they're trying to do, to make sure that people lose confidence in government and try to do as much damage as they can against it. So for political reasons and religious reasons, even though they are also killing Muslims, who they feel they are not practicing the true Islam according to them. And I don't think, as far as I know, I'm not a Muslim, but I know that Islam is a religion of peace. So I don't know how you can be preaching peace and killing people, even killing your own adherents. I can't reconcile it.
Right. I think one of the reasons people are asking about our security architecture intelligence is, again, when you see this attack, large-scale attack of this nature, they tend to ask what went wrong. How was this able to happen, in a country that is functional? Although some say there are indices of a failed state happening in Nigeria, but a country that is still functional, where over 200 people are killed and dozens of children and women are reportedly abducted. Large-scale attack in a community like that what went wrong? That's one of the questions that I've heard.
Well, people are right. I'm bound to ask such questions. For me, as a true patriot and a Nigerian can never be a failed state. But I believe that we can do more. It's a responsibility of everybody. And that brings me to the issue or the question you raised earlier. I have been a very serious advocate of the state police. Unless, I don't know, the federal government has bought into it, the National Assembly has bought into it, the governors have bought into it. I don't know what is holding it. Because if the state police is established, and as I speak, there's virtually no state in Nigeria that doesn't have a state police in the name of one task force or vigilante. So why don't we formalize it? Because, like politics is local, security is also local. It's only the people that are within the area that can identify the criminal elements and get them dealt with. But the Nigerian police, as it is now and as constituted, we not know the terrains. Look at what is happening in Ondo State, for instance, even though there's a little upsurge. But you know that when Amotekun came in, the Ondo State became an example.
Yes.
A lot of people, they were able to go into the forest, and the federal government has ordered that the state security service should recruit forest guards.
Yes.
How long? Recruit police 50 or 40,000. It's going to take time for them to be trained and deployed. So all these things are taking time. Well, the shortest way and the best way to go about this is establishment of the police, state police, because the people, the bulk of the people will be drawn from within the state that they know the terrain. Local governments everywhere, you deploy them to their local government so that anywhere they have, at least vigilantes are working. I had an incident 2 days ago in my place. Where some of these Fulani herdsmen, I don't call them herdsmen, I call them terrorists, because they are not herdsmen. If you see the normal Fulani herdsmen, you see them with their cattle, but all these people roaming about armed with dangerous weapons, you don't see them with their cattle. So these bandits and terrorists, as I call them, must put in. And the best way to do it, especially except for these people coming to attack villages and houses, innocent citizens. If you are going to the forest, you don't go alone. You go in groups so that nobody will molest you. A lot of issues. I think the government should go ahead before as a matter of priority and urgency before the next election to establish state police. I am very, very eager and anxious that is done.
Yeah, and from your experience, in security and intelligence, I asked about intelligence earlier because that's what some people are saying. They say, the DSS now is also always concerning itself with who it's going to arrest for cyber stalking, who is going to pursue in court for criticizing the president instead of gathering intelligence and sharing with the other security agencies. What's your reading of the situation? Do you think that's a fair assessment of the DSS presently, that they just go about to arrest Shore and Co?
You are in a better position to correct such notions.
Yes.
Because we have been reading of the intelligence provided by the SS in Kebbi, in Kwara, and how troops were withdrawn before the attack. And so it will be unfair. I'm not speaking because I'm from the SSS.
Yes.
I retired from the SSS.
Yes.
But we must be objective and fair in our criticism, because the leadership of the present SSS is very proactive, providing the necessary intelligence, and he has a very good working relationship, rapport with other service chiefs. So I think it will be unfair. But the issue is that our action agencies can also not be blamed because they don't have the capacity to deal with this situation. Like I said, they have rules of engagement. But these bandits don't have rules. They just go out and they kill people. And if you begin to use other people for shield, so when they take hostages, you don't go to confront them because you endanger the life of the people who are in custody.
Yeah, but when you say we don't have the capacity, is it in terms of weaponry? Because it cannot be out-weaponed. The Nigerian army cannot be out-weaponed against, these people. Because I also even say that if we had, a strong police architecture, these are, minor internal skirmishes that should have even been handled by the police, not the full-blown military itself. So when you say we don't have capacity, yes.
Exactly. Police is the lead agency in maintaining internal security. As we speak, police is less than 300,000 in terms of strength. And the United Nations statistics is one policeman to 400. So check out 300,000 to over 200 million people and tell me what you have. Besides, there's no equipment, there's no training. The military is coming. Military is not trained for this kind of ad hoc duty they are doing. Military was supposed to provide protect our territorial integrity, our sovereignty. So the military is doing a job that is not trained for, and the people that are supposed to do are not trained for the job. It's not their fault. So it's a two-edged sword, and we'll continue to manage the situation until we get there.
Okay.
But I think the shortest way to do this is through the state police.
So, Mr. Jeffo,
although some people will argue that the state police will be abused. And I said, is the Nigerian state police force not being abused as it is now? The president has directed that all the people who are attached to the dignities be withdrawn, where has that been complied with? And they're telling us 11,000, whereas have been withdrawn. Whereas the former chairman of Police Service Commission said they will have over 120,000 people deployed to GIP protection. So how do you reconcile 120,000 deployed and we see people moving around with these people?
So how do you think the police got weakened to the extent that it cannot perform its own job internally anymore, and it has been taken over by the military that is not trained to do the job in the first place? How did the police become so weakened from your experience in security?
Well, it started with the military regime that was always equipping the military to protect this regime protection, and they tried to incapacitate the police. And the issues, even in our 26 years of democracy, have not been fully addressed. The police challenges have not been fully addressed. And until they are done, we'll continue to go in circles.
Right. So I think you highlighted the U.S. Intervention earlier. We saw the Christmas Day bombing, and now we're having boots on the ground for the first time since that December 2025 airstrike on Nigerian soil, somewhere in Sokoto. And opinions seem to be divided on this. There are those who are against it, saying that, look, I mean, if, security architecture seem overstretched, if it looks like they don't have the capacity to deal with this problem, if you are seeing somebody that's offering to help us, why not allow them to help us? There are those who are also expressing reservation that the fact that we are inviting boots on the ground means that we are ceding our sovereignty to the United States. What's your understanding of this, new kind of relationship between the U.S. and Nigeria? Although they've always been, security assistance and all of that, but this is boots on the ground now. It started with airstrike. Now we're seeing boots on the ground. In fact, the president welcomed the African commander just a few days ago to Abuja.
Well, for me, the people who are saying that I will lose our sovereignty, I will be misinformed or misguided. Terrorism is a global war. It's a global offense. There's no single country without collaboration can fight it. So if we have people giving us assistance, well, why not? But the only area I disagree with people or the United States government is a situation where President Trump, I said it when he first gave that information, that Trump, whatever he says, he will do it.
Yes.
People were just not, they were nonchalant that he will not do it, but he will do it. But my argument there was that he must collaborate with the Nigerian government, which is exactly what he's doing now. They are providing services in terms of training, in terms of equipment and intelligence. And I believe that with this renewed collaboration, within the next few months, we should be seeing some results.
Yeah, just before we let you go, Mr. Ejiofor, I want us to do a bit of analysis of how this whole thing started with Trump, labeling Nigeria as a country of particular concern, with many Nigerians expressing concern that, there might be because he said he was going guns blazing into Nigeria. And people said, no, Trump is somebody that has ego. You have to massage his ego. You have to be you have to handle it diplomatically. So what have you made of Nigeria's response to that threat, go guns are blazing into Nigeria? Now we're even seeing Trump, hailing the First Lady as a respected Christian leader in Nigeria, as against the narrative initially that Christians were being targeted in a genocide in the country. There are those who are hailing the president for adopting what they call soft power diplomacy, they even liken it to the likes of Eleanor Roosevelt, using Mrs. OLORUNTOBA as the person to sell the Nigerian brand by going to that conference in the United States to meet with the president.
When President Trump made that initial threat,
yes,
I advised government to use diplomatic means to approach Trump. If you begin to follow Trump the way he is, I am not a fan of Trump. He's going to be a pro, and that is why government has used subtle diplomacy. You remember that the NSA led a delegation to the U.S. immediately after that threat, and some other delegations have. Luckily enough, First Lady went there, and he also praised the First Lady. So that shows that there's an understanding between both countries that no one country can do it alone. And we must continue to that line to see how we can come out of this problem, because it's a major problem.
Yes. Yeah, and how important was that diplomacy, especially if you look at how somebody like Nicolas Maduro, for instance, was saying that, he was ready for Trump, he should come to Caracas, and how he was bundled from his own country into the United States, knowing the character of Trump, that, if you dare him, he might do what he said he would do. So how important was it for Nigeria to adopt that diplomacy that you talked about?
Well, it was important for us, but there's no way Trump would have done also what he did in Venezuela and Nigeria. Nigeria is, there is this relationship between Venezuela. They are running virtually everything in Venezuela, but it's also in Nigeria. So I think, whether we look at the consequences of the approach, the most important thing is that we have used subtle diplomacy to achieve results.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael Geoffrey, for joining us on the podium this morning. It's a pleasure to have you on the conversation today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, if you're just joining us, our guest this morning has been Mr. Michael Geoffrey, the former director of the State Security Service, DSS. We've been talking about the amendment into the Electoral Act, which passed the Senate yesterday. A lot of controversy and protest as well, preceded that event in the Senate. Remember, you can drop your comment on Facebook, 32FM 949 Fenya. You can also call 0705 5000 949, 0906 2000 949, or 0906 2000 949, or 009 7000 949. On Facebook, Kafar Diwali says, can the government explain how possible and right it is that a gang of bandits would operate in a place and kidnap at least 150 persons and they're able to escape into the forest? Did they come with truck and buses? And when the kidnapped are released or saved from the bandit, how did it happen? Did they just see the people in a location given by who or what? Why is Nigeria like this? To me, some wicked fellow in power benefiting from these attacks. Those kidnapped in buses could not be that easily brought from a community. Okay? Kadima Batune says, what can the religious leader do to assist the government in the area of security? All the preaching about killing should stop from such religious leaders who are preaching such. Okay, he says, congratulations to Nigeria for forcing the lawmakers to dance to the requests of Nigerians. Remember, garbage in, garbage out. Whether digital or manual upload, Nigerians saddled with the responsibility should do the needful without gratification from these politicians. Is the country ready to invest in technology before the election to make the transmission stress-free and to guard against the hackers and the AI-generated results? A very important question there, okay, about today, because I've been wondering the kind of impact AI and deepfake videos will have on this election, especially when you're seeing people, making videos and promoting it, making you sound like you said something when you actually did not say it. So we're still going to see a lot of impact of AI in the forthcoming elections. That's it on the podium for today. Don't forget to join us on Saturday for the weekend edition. Thank you for dropping your comment on our Facebook page. My name is OLORUNTOBA YUSUF. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday morning. Bye for now.